What's your favorite quote from a non-famous person?
My mom, every bad decision I've ever made in life was out of fear.
Come on, you can always take one more step. A lieutenant said it to me when I was doing basic infantry training. He literally meant it in the sense that I should keep running in full gear in burning hot sun after several days with little to no sleep, but I have taken the saying with me and I now use it for when things are going badly and I need some motivation.
Bring the guacamole. My friend was tired of there not being guacamole at parties, despite having salsa and cheese sauce available for chips. So another friend told him to bring it himself. It was like a rural version of Be the Change You Want to See in the World, but the guacamole version really stuck with me. If you want guacamole, don't complain someone else isn't bringing it. Just bring it yourself.
It's one thing not to care what others think. It's another not to own a mirror.
Beware of people who say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, because you'll never know which you are until it's too late.
I don't know if I picked it up from somewhere or what, but I always say, the answer will always be no unless you ask. Living by that has really paid off in big ways. I've read this one here on Reddit, but it's a pretty good quote, and apparently the guy who posted the quote actually came up with it. A loose cannon eventually points your way.
Two things I can't fix are dead and stupid, so don't wake me up for either of them. Third shift coworker, to their kids in the morning.
Fellow worker, don't worry about him, it's the smart ones you have to worry about.
Confidence is food to the wise, but liquor to the fool. Vikram. I still use this quote all the time.
People who say they are brutally honest tend to care more about being brutal than being honest.
Somebody on Reddit told a story and their mom said, let go or be dragged, in regards to a relationship that went sour. This would have changed my life if I heard it 10 years earlier.
You don't have to like the whole buffet. My dad on whether you had to agree 100% with a politician to vote for them.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Something my dad said that has always stuck with me. Don't waste your one phone call on me, Dad. Never break more than one law at a time, Grandpa.
I told my dad I'd been smoking cigarettes. H is 64 with emphysema from smoking for 40 years. I thought he'd give me some health reasons to stop. Instead he says, you idiot, smoking is how they enslave poor people, haven't smoked since.
You can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. Someone on Reddit. Never turn down anything that's given to you, even if you have to throw it in the ditch on the way home. My paternal grandma. You're only happy with what you see in front of you. There's so much more to see. This hoity-toity rich girl from overseas. She was right though, there was so much more to see.
You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. Some people are comfortable in whatever situation they are in, despite what comes out of their mouths. There is not a moment of clarity quite as pure as the one you get mid-fall. Ricky.
My 4th grade 1959 teacher, Esther Farrance, the more you know you don't know. It didn't make sense at the time, but now I know that she was so right.
What does it say about our society that we have nothing better to do than to get so wasted we can't remember what we did to have fun? My high school band director on using drugs and alcohol.
Marcus Parks, mental illness is not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Back in my baseball playing days, after we won a game against the league leaders after they committed a few errors, one of the guys on the opposing team came up to us while we were celebrating, saying that we'd won ugly, how it was an ugly win, all that jive. Our pitcher answered with, so what? They don't give style points in baseball. My grandfather, what people think about me is their business.
My wife, don't bark at people's dogs, they don't like that.
Also like, you can't spend yourself rich. People like to say they want to earn $1 million. No. They really mean they want to spend $1 million. Former boss, André Levesque, when in doubt, be unreasonable. Second favorite quote from the same guy, in all my years, nobody has ever called me a bitch. You're fired. That was the first of 7 times he fired me. My girlfriend. I guess this is the hard part in our lives, where we have to prove to the world that we deserve a place in it.
I didn't fart, my ass blew you a kiss because it heard you were talking shit. My best friend's mom shouted this to her across the table at breakfast when they got into an argument. My uncle who had just committed suicide the other day, the Bible in a nutshell, just don't be a douchebag, man, he was a cool guy.
It doesn't hurt that someone is helping you, unless, in the first place, you are worried about needing help, a friend that was in wheelchair.
Today you, tomorrow me.
Do the right thing, no matter what the cost. Senior exec at HEB, discussing a problem. If you can barely afford it, you can't afford it. I've taken it to heart since I've read that line.
You don't like me? Fuck you, my kids like me. Jim King, a mentor of mine. Second mouse gets the cheese. Is that awkward? Great. Awkwardness is a sign you're building a new skill. Keep practicing it until it comes naturally. Paraphrase from Chris Voss's masterclass video on negotiation. Failure to plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on Moan, my Air Force commander. Trust me, you can dance. Vodka.
Without us, you do boring stuff. With us, you do boring stuff too, but it's awesome because I'm here, a friend.
You work a job for security and income, not friends.
People with AirPods can't afford the wire, some random 8th grader I ran into.
The reason why you find everything in the last place you look, is because you don't keep looking for it once you've found it, Dad.
Knowledge is knowing, and wisdom is being able to apply what you know. Don't ever let people disrespect your work.
Grandfather, if you work for nothing you'll be kept employed. Killing them softly, America is not a country, it's just a business. Now fucking pay me, truer words haven't been spoken. I like this anonymous pit boss in Vegas who said, show me a happy loser, and I will show you an idiot.
You've never lived life until you've walked around with a broadsword on your waist yelling, more ale, wench, Chef Bob in reference to the Renaissance Fair.
I knew a lot of men who worked with me who were communists, and they were all very nice, earnest, and friendly men. No one becomes a communist because he hates America. He becomes a communist because he can't feed his family. During an oral history interview, my grandfather was explaining to me about his time working for Lockheed during World War II, and why he hated Joseph McCarthy so fucking much. Hey, let you and me play a game, it's called Fuck Off. Pretty self-explanatory, you go first, unknown. One way to get by in life is to never let anyone know who you really are, my old bio professor. He was talking about mimicry in the animal kingdom, but I took it to heart.
A former coworker, Harold Wilson, once reminded me that the sun is always shining even when it's a cloudy and rainy day. In other words, the good things in life are usually still there even if they're sometimes hidden behind the bad.
Home is where the pants aren't. Mike. It's only money, you can't take it with you, my dad. My response, yeah, but you can leave it to your son in your will.
10% of life is showing up, and the other 90% is knowing when to leave. My friend David, I googled it and I still can't believe that was off the top of his head.
My friend once said, bulk oysters, what could go wrong? She got food poisoning.
My friend who passed away, nothing is impossible to men, if they can't do something, they just do something else.
Shit, I'm outta grease. Hand me the butter.
If you aren't getting better at something, you're getting worse at it. My high school band director. I think about it a lot and it motivates me to keep up my skills instead of letting them slip away.
It was so hard, I just wish it was harder. This was something someone had about an abortion they regretted. I'm not here to debate abortion, my views don't even align with this quote since I'm pro-choice. It just had such an impact tbh.
My mom told me when I was being bullied in school that, if someone claims they don't care about you and talks shit about you, they're obviously lying. My dad, if it can be paid with money, it's cheap.
In response to other students saying, I didn't have time to do the homework, a Mayor teacher said, you're not being given time to do homework, you're taking time to do it. It just stuck with me, because he's right. The point is to take control of our own time since no one controls it or give it to us.
Peacekeeping is the process of dragging a war out to its longest possible duration, a guy on Usenet, many years ago. Laughter is contagious, so if I have to laugh at nothing, to get you to laugh at something, then I'm doing the right thing in my book, JFJ, small-time YouTuber. Don't judge someone by what others say about them. Judge them by what they say about others. Me, 2018.